Today, I'm diving deep into the controversial waters of Huckleberry Finn to see if it really is a slave to its own controversy. Can I navigate this tricky discussion without getting lost? Huckleberry Finn is one of those classic works of American literature that everyone's heard of, but not everyone's actually read. And for good reason, it's been at the center of some pretty heated debates for decades. From racism to language, education to historical context, there are so many layers to this book that it's hard to know where to even start. One of the most obvious controversies surrounding Huckleberry Finn is its portrayal of racism. I mean, let's be real, the book is set in the pre-Civil War era, and the N-word is used liberally throughout. But is that a reflection of the time period, or is it perpetuating harmful stereotypes? And what about the character of Jim, the runaway slave who's arguably the most morally sound person in the entire novel? Is he a positive representation of Afro-Americans, or is he just a tokenistic plot device? And then there's the language itself. Mark Twain's writing is some of the most beautiful, evocative stuff out there, but it's also dripping with racism and sexist attitudes. I mean, we can't just dismiss that as it was a different time, because language has power, and words can hurt. But at the same time, are we throwing the baby out with the bathwater by trying to erase these attitudes from our cultural heritage? For a lot of people, the biggest controversy surrounding Huckleberry Finn is its impact on education. Should we be teaching this book in schools, given its problematic content? Or is it a valuable tool for teaching kids about history, morality, and critical thinking? And what about the teachers themselves? Are they equipped to handle the complex discussions that arise from this book, or are they just sticking to the Cliff's Notes? So where did Mark Twain come from, anyway? He was born in 1835, grew up in Hannibal, Missouri, and was deeply influenced by the slave-holding culture of the South. But he was also a fierce abolitionist, and his writing often reflected that tension. The thing is, Twain wasn't trying to write a historical treatise, he was trying to tell a story that would make people laugh, cry, and think. And in that sense, Huckleberry Finn is a resounding success. But what about the historical context of the book? I mean, we're talking about a novel that was written in the late 19th century, but set in the pre-Civil War era. That's a whole different time, with different social norms, different power structures, and different values. Can we really hold Twain to modern standards of political correctness, or are we being unfair? As you read through Huckleberry Finn, it's hard not to get caught up in the controversy. I mean, there are scenes that are just cringe-worthy by today's standards. But then there are moments of beauty, of humanity, of pure moral clarity that just take your breath away. And that's what makes this book so complex, so multifaceted, and so worth reading. One of the most compelling arguments about Huckleberry Finn is that it's not just a product of its time, it's also a reflection of our own ongoing struggles with race, identity, and power. I mean, think about it, we're still having the same conversations today that we were having in the 19th century. We're still debating inclusion, diversity, and representation. And in that sense, Huckleberry Finn is less of a relic of the past and more of a warning for the future. One of the things that really struck me as I delved deeper into the controversy surrounding Huckleberry Finn is how many different viewpoints there are. I mean, some people see it as a deeply problematic book that should be banned from schools, while others see it as a masterpiece of American literature that's being unfairly maligned. And that's the beauty of it, there's no one-size-fits-all solution to this controversy. It's messy, it's complex, and it's ongoing. So what's the takeaway from all this? Well, for me, it's that Huckleberry Finn is a lot more than just a controversial book, it's a mirror held up to our own society, our own values, and our own ongoing struggles. It's a book that challenges us, that makes us uncomfortable, and that forces us to confront the darkest corners of our own psyches. And in that sense, it's not a slave to its own controversy, it's a vital, living, breathing part of our cultural heritage. Huckleberry Finn may be a classic, but its legacy is still being written. What do you think? Is it a slave to its own controversy, or is it a masterpiece of American literature? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more literary analysis, be sure to check out my next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.